What's going on, everybody? Good morning, good evening, wherever you are, and whatever time it is. Welcome back to yet another video with you, man, Immersionholic. And ladies and gentlemen, the 1.3.2 beta patch for the Divide Et Impera for Total War Rome 2 has finally been released. That's right, it is now publicly available. It is on the Steam Workshop. I will leave a link in the description. You can go ahead, subscribe to the patch, and make sure that you load it above the Divide Et Impera mods that you already have in your load order, and you can get involved in the campaign. So in celebration of this awesome moment in DI history, I am going to do our first ever campaign overview for the entire campaign of the Mithridatic Wars campaign that has been added in. It is one of the biggest things added into the 1.3.2 patch. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a little bit of a context first over what exactly is going on in Roman history. Then we will go through each little faction. I'm not going to go over their military, at least not in depth like my faction overviews. This is purely to focus on the campaign and the overall campaign situation for each of the three major factions. And I'll also talk about what's going on around the rest of the Middle East and the Mediterranean around this time. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, please do remember timestamps will be down below. Feel free to comment any questions you have at all. But this will hopefully help you figure out what faction you want to play as when you finally jump in to the brand new Mithridatic Wars campaign. Alright, let's do this. Alright everybody, so let's talk very briefly about the historical context of this campaign. So this campaign titled the Mithridatic Wars obviously occurs during the Mithridatic Wars. There was 3 Mithridatic Wars, similar to the Punic Wars. All 3 wars were fought between Pontus and Rome. Now, the first Mithridatic War has just ended around this time. Sulla has recently just managed to get peace with Pontus, led by Mithridates VI. Pontus is still strong at this point, and we will see shortly just how much territory and power that they still hold, but Sulla managed to make a relatively uneasy truce. It's sure to have more hostilities coming up in the near future, but Sulla has issues in the west with Rome itself. The Senate has outlawed him, declared him an enemy of the state of the Roman Republic, and as such they are now in a state of civil war, with Marius leading the Mariani from Rome itself, so he has a favor of the Senate, and the Sullani, under the leadership of Sulla, are currently trying to retake Italy. So this is very big. To add in a little bit more context, I'm going to read this description up here for you. It's just a short paragraph. Feel free to skip ahead if you don't want to listen to it, but I feel like it's a really nice way of describing the current situation. A war for the very heart of the Roman way of life has been waged for years now, as political debate has become civil war. After a lengthy conflict between Rome and her former allies of Italy, the Republic sits at a major crossroads. Gaius Marius, one of the greatest Romans in history, has recently died. His absence has left a populares party at the throat of the Optimates, led by Lucius Cornelius Sulla. While Sulla was away fighting Mithridates in the east, the Marian faction has solidified a hold over Rome itself. So that means Gaius Marius, the man responsible for the Marian reforms, has recently died. He actually died of natural causes, funnily enough. But his son, Marius the Younger, is now essentially leading the Populares party to lead the western part of the Roman Republic, still a republic at this time, pretty much, against Sulla. Sulla is quite old at this point. He does have several children, although they aren't of fighting age, so we'll look into his family tree shortly. But Marius the Elder actually had a son, Gaius Marius, who is now Marius the Younger. He's leading the Populares faction against the Optimates. So we have some amazing personalities coming into this, and we're going to jump in game and see all of the characters that are involved very shortly. But first, I want to go over the buffs and debuffs for all of these factions. So I'll do the Sullani, we'll jump in game, and then we'll come back out and check out the Mariani, and so on and so forth. Okay, so the Sullani and the Mariani are under the Roman cultural group. Both factions have civil war, minus 35 to diplomacy with other Roman factions, so that means both factions will almost certainly have a negative debuff politically toward each other and any other Roman factions that manage to pop up, say, in a civil war or anything else like that. We then have the Roman Legions buff, which gives you +1 recruitment slots in all of your provinces. Very, very Roman buff to have, but it's still quite nice. It can definitely give you the edge on the campaign. We then come down to the debuffs and buffs the Sullani suffer and deal with. They are hated by the Hellenes, decreased diplomacy with Hellenic factions. Now note, this is not with the Hellenic culture. It is purely just towards Hellenic factions, so that means other political entities outside of your own influence, or at least outside of under your direct control. So client states do count towards this, so they aren't going to be very happy being a client state of yours, but is what it is. We then have the strategic bonus with increased army movement, and we have the administrator role for increased taxable income. So both of these buffs are very nice. Your negative debuff is not great. It's not going to cause you massive amounts of trouble because, I mean, let's face it, you're probably going to be fighting everyone anyway. But it is what it is, and that's what's going on for Sulla. So now let's jump into the campaign map and see how the Sullani situation is in the Mithridatic Wars campaign. Alright everybody, here we are on the campaign map for the Sullani faction. So let's check out this situation. This is the very first thing that you will see as soon as you load in. You have the objective issue box, where you are issued with a mission described with the Mithridates, temporarily defeated. Sulla's eyes turn back toward Rome to regain control. The objective: hold the entirety of the following provinces: Latium and Magna Graecia. You get 4,500 whatever for doing so. And of course we have a little pop-up up here saying you are Lucius Cornelius Sulla. So we need to hold all of Magna Graecia, which is down here in southern Italy, and we also need to hold Latium to complete the first objective. Note, it is not your actual victory conditions. You do have your ultimate objectives here. Nothing really too crazy. Control 80 settlements by direct ownership or blah blah blah. You need Latium, Bithynia, Pontus, Africa, Hellas, Asia, and Hispania. So it's actually quite easy to get the military victory. I mean, it'll take you a little while, but it's very typical of what you should do as playing as Sulla. Your chapter or objective missions, on the other hand, they will change as you complete them. So for example, as Sulla, once you take Latium and Magna Graecia and you hold them both for a single turn, after that turn goes through, you then will get a mission to march down to the south and take Sicily, and to march up north and take Cisalpine Gaul, which is this region over here. I won't go through all of the missions and objectives. I just at least wanted to let you know that there is a little bit of historical flavor added in the form of these missions that you have to do, which is a lot of fun, and I really love it. I would like to see a lot more of it for all of the factions, besides just bonus objectives, which we do have one. It's the same for both factions, the Sullani and the Mariani, which is just called Reinforcing Legions, where you need to maintain 80 units in total. Nothing too special, it's going to happen naturally over time. But anyway, just wanted to let you know about that and the overall objectives. However, the reality of the campaign is that you're in a state of civil war, because you start off at war with the Mariani. So there is no avoiding Roman civil war, it has already begun, so that makes this campaign quite unique compared to any other Total War Rome 2 campaign, for DEI at least. Even in the Imperator Augustus campaign, you can try to avoid war with Antony and Lepidus as Octavian if you play your cards right. It's hard to do, but you're at least not forced into war. However, here we are forced into war, and we're forced into an invasion of Italy straight away. So you can see we have a major city of Taurus right here in southern Italy, and we have a large army. This is Legio I Italica, the first Italian legion, under our Primus Inter Pares, under the command of Sulla himself. You have a full-on proper legion here. You can see all of your troops are in the Marian reforms already, because it's appropriate for the time period. So no Hastati, Principes, or Terraria in this campaign. It is all already legionnaires. So that's a lot of fun. You get to have some fun with proper Roman legions that we're all used to thinking about, whatever. And you start in Italy though, which is very interesting. But anyway, let's go over all the cities you have. So as a Sullani, you have the city of Taurus, and that's it for your possessions, in southern Italy. However, in northern Italy, you do have Ariminum, and then up here in Cisalpine Gaul, we have Patavium. You also have the entire province of Illyricum, so Iata, Dalminium, and Epidamnos, full province. Moving down south, we then have the province of Macadamia. Wow, Macedonia. It's late, guys, so please bear with me. Macedonia, having Pella, Larissa, and Apollonia. These cities right here, all already directly under your control. We then have your capital in the province of Hellas, aka Greece. We have the Athens itself is your capital. We have Sparta. And then we also have the Cretan Islands over here, the city of Herapitna, which is part of your core province. Please do note, Sparta does have a wonder that is working. So wonders are confirmed in the Mithridatic Wars campaign. Very nice wonder to have at the beginning of the game. If you are still unsure about wonders, I highly recommend you go check out my wonders guide, where I go over literally every single wonder in the game and all of the effects for it as well. Anyway, moving on to the east in what is known as Asia, we have Pergamon. This is where your only other military force is stationed on turn 1. Legio II Asiana, your second legion. Very small legion, only with a few cohorts, nothing too crazy at all, but you do have the entire province of Asia under your direct control. So we have Pergamon, we have Pessinus or Pessinus, Rhodes, and Ephesus, or Ephesos, however you want to pronounce it. And here in this province, we have 2 wonders under your direct control. We have the Colossus of Rhodes in Rhodes, of course, and then in Ephesus we have the tomb of Mausolus, however you want to pronounce that. So you have 3 wonders, turn 1 of the game. Absolutely powerful, very, very strong. So yeah, you're in a very excellent position. However, that is not all of your territory. Over here in the west, you do have Corrales, aka Sardinia. The island of Sardinia is under your direct control. Corsica up here, the smaller island, is under the control of the Mariani. So while neither of you have military forces, you do have the advantage because you have these walled city. But they are also closer to their capital, so they might get reinforcements, who knows. So definitely a battle over the western islands. But that's it, you hold no further territory in the west. You hold a lot of provinces, you hold a lot of cities under your direct control, and you hold a lot of resources. So let's talk about that very quickly while we go to your diplomacy. So we'll talk about diplomacy first, then your trade and economics. You start at war with the Mariani, which is Marius the Younger. There he is over there. And that's it. You don't have any other declarations of war, at least not already made for you. In the east, you do have 3 client states. You have Lycia, Pisidia, and then Bithynia. Bithynia. These are your 3 client states, and you have no further diplomatic relations with anybody whatsoever. However, pretty quickly you will get war from Pontus. They often declare war on one of your client states in the first few turns, and you get dragged into war against them. So prepare for that as quick as you can. They do have a large army around their capital around here, and they will use it. And I mean, they have nothing else to do but attack you, so be careful. And they are allied to Armenia, and Armenia is quite powerful at this point in time too, so be careful of that. You can see all of the other factions do not like you. However, they all want to trade with you because you have amazing resources. Well, not amazing, but you have a lot of them. We got glassware, we got olive oil, we got marble, we got copper, we got fish, and we have wine. In addition, you also have other factions with resources right next to you. For example, the city of Nasos has silver and lead. Over here at Odessos, they have slaves. Up here, Segestica has wood. And then I believe there's gold somewhere over here or over here. But yeah, it's quite close indeed. And then, I mean, you have all of the resources in Asia as well that you'll be getting as you march east. Bit of iron there, some fish over here, more wood. You just have resources in every direction. So you're definitely in a strong position regarding trade, because a lot of people will trade for you and they'll pay you good money to trade with you on turn 1. If you wait more than a few turns though, then everyone will start to hate you pretty quick, because that the diplomatic penalties you get for being big kick in and no one likes you. So if you do want to get trade and get a bunch of money to help kickstart your campaign, do it turn 1. Just go for the list, get trade, demand money where you can. Again, this is all assuming that you're playing on the normal difficulty setting. If you're above that, chances are you're not going to get all that much diplomacy. But that's just how it is in Rome 2 in general. But anyway, that is your starting positions. We have 0 agents, no navies, and just 2 legions. One of which is almost at full strength. But it does have your leader, and your leader is in enemy territory, essentially. The Mariani have only 2 armies, but they're both right next to your army. So one is in Cosentia and another in Beneventum. So a little risky. They might try to double team against your legion, depending on how you play things. But it's going to be entirely up to you. Maybe you want to pull back. Maybe you don't want to force the invasion of Italy. Or maybe you want to try to smash through them, get to Rome as quick as you can. Up to you. But anyway, that is your starting position. Your economics are looking fantastic. Your population is excellent. You have a massive amount of cities. So you're very rarely going to have population issues, even as you're fighting your enemies like the Romans. As you invade into Italy, you're going to be fighting Latin cultures or Roman culture. So once you take over cities like Asculum, Arretium, Genua, Medlam, whatever, you're going to be getting a population boost from the local area. And then even then, as you continue going west, the Mariani hold all of most of Iberia. So as you get territory way out here, you're still going to be able to get a lot of population. So population is essentially a non-issue for you, in my opinion anyway. There is ways in which you can suffer. I mean, if you get in a stalemate down here in southern Italy and you just keep spamming troops from Taurus, obviously you're going to struggle, but Taurus has 40,000 people at its disposal, 28,000 proletari, which is your legionnaire social class, so you'll be fine on population. Economics are looking great. As I said, you have a lot of resources, a lot of people want to trade with you. You have some very nice provinces, none of the best in the game, except Asia is considered to be very powerful, mainly because of these wonders and the fact that you have 4 cities. And both of these wonders give you a plus X amount of percentage to your cultural resources as well in the region, such as 20% from the Tomb of Marcellus, and the Colossus of Rhodes gives you plus 10 wealth from culture as well. And then we also get plus 10 wealth from all commerce, so that's very nice to have. Fantastic wonders, and if you really want, you can make Asia just pour money into your economy through the cultural bonuses that you get, or you could just do something else entirely. You don't have to stick with it. But yeah, you have a full army in enemy territory, and you're already earning 6.5k per turn. Money is almost not going to be a problem for you, except for one thing you need to consider with this campaign. As the Sullani and as Romans especially, you will be at war with everybody relatively quite quickly, unless you're playing on easy difficulty. I mean, your borders up here along the Danube, you're surrounded by barbarians who don't like you. Same thing down here along the lower Danube. Over here in Asia, you have Pontus, which is going to declare war on you within the first 5 to 10 turns. To the east, you have no diplomatic relations, so Egypt doesn't know you and they don't like you. The remnants of the Seleucids are over here and they don't like you at all. And then you have the massive empire of Parthia, which is in the process of becoming an empire, really. It still is finishing off some Greek factions and whatnot. They don't like you. So there's no direction where you're going to march where you're not going to have enemies. Even as you come west and defeat the Mariani, you're then going to have the Gauls to deal with, and other Celts and barbarians coming in from the north. So Rome is definitely at a crossroads. It's at a pinnacle. And a lot of things are going to happen. And it might not be pretty, and You might lose quite a bit of territory in the process, but you are Rome, you can always reclaim it. Your focus is going to be securing Italy, and then securing your coastal provinces like Sicily. You'll want to take Africa as quick as you can. Africa is one of the best provinces you can get. Pumps out a lot of money, which I'll talk about soon as a Mariani. And then you have the majority of Hispania, Iberia, which is under the direct control of the Mariani. So you want to go, basically you want the Mariani territory. So focus on getting that. Hold what you can in the east, but Pontus will probably take a few settlements from you. But at the same time, you don't have all that many inside of Anatolia. Pessinus and Ephesus are your most vulnerable cities. Pergamon is a walled city, so that should be fine. Rhodes is a coastal settlement, so... Anyway, that is the starting position for Sulla. Let's do one last thing and check out the political situation. You have the plebeian political party, you have the Optimates political party, you have the Sullani political party. Political party. Obviously headed by Sulla himself and his wife Cassilia Metella. You have 3 children. Although I think Cornelia, because of this yellow arrow, means she's either a bastard or she was to a different wife, perhaps. I don't know the historical background of Sulla's family, unfortunately, but you do have multiple children and whatnot, and grandchildren coming out of the bloodline, so that's nice. You can continue this for a long time. However, under the Optimates political faction, we have your boy Gnaeus Pompeius Magnus. That's right, you can play as Pompey if you choose the Sullani faction. Of course, you'll have to figure out a way to get him into your core faction, try and adopt him or something like that. Unlikely you can do it too easily, you have to put in a fair bit of effort. But, I mean, to you Pompey lovers out there, now is the time where you can actually use him on the Grand Campaign map for Divide Et Impera. It's just, you have to do it in the Mithridatic Wars campaign, which is obviously very fitting for the time period. So, get your boy Pompey if you like, or if you like, you could get Marcus Licinius Crassus, the old goat. He's getting a little bit older now. Well, he's not an old goat, but he's older. 32 years old. He's the oldest out of the 3 triumvirs at this point. And he's going to be looking to earn that military glory. I would not recommend you send him against Parthia. Anyway, hashtag too soon. You can also get him into your faction if you can figure out a way to adopt him. Otherwise, what you can do though is have both generals serve for you. So for example, we go to Taurus, we recruit an army, want to raise an army. Straight away you can get Pompey or Crassus leading an army. So that's awesome enough as it is, in my opinion. But I mean, if Sulla dies and you manage to adopt one of them and name them your heir, then you can have them literally leading your faction. So anyway, that's what's going on for your political starting position. I'm not going to go over the military. Like I said before though, you are in the Marian reforms, so obviously you're going to have access to Roman legionaries and Greek auxiliary troops in the area, and Greek AOR troops, I should say. But anyway, very interesting start. Definitely the easiest start out of the 2 between the Sullani and the Mariani. And let's go ahead and check out the Mariani and find out why they are absolutely going to be more difficult than the Sullani. So let's jump into it. Alright everyone, here we are checking out the Mariani faction for the Mithridatic Wars campaign. Obviously, being part of the Roman culture, you share the same buffs and debuffs as the Sullani that we checked out earlier. However, the specific Mariani buffs and debuffs you get is, first off, you have the Populus buff, which increases public order from Latin culture. So you're going to want to spread your Latin culture as much as you can in order to stabilize your public order, because the Latins love you. You're a man of the people, your political party is for the people, supposedly, and so they love you for it. You then also have the Estates buff, which increases agricultural income. This is very handy because you can use agriculture as a really big income booster to help kickstart your economy. You own the entire province of Africa, and Africa is notorious and the DI community for being excellent as a agricultural province. And I'll show you what I mean shortly, but those of you who watch my Carthage campaign, you should know just how powerful it is. And then we have the negative debuff, though, of increased empire maintenance. This is big, and we're going to look at why right now. So let's jump into the campaign map and see what's going on for the Mariani. Alright everyone, here we are checking out the campaign situation for the Mariani and the Mithridatic Wars campaign. This is what you see when you first load into the campaign. You have an objective issued. We have Mithridates temporarily defeated, Sulla's eyes turned back toward Rome to regain control. Same thing as what the Sullani get. However, your objective is to capture the provinces of Macedonia and Magna Graecia. You get 4.5k for doing so. You have your little pop-up up here saying, hey, you are Gaius Marius the Younger. Stop Sulla from taking down the Republic and all of the values we hold dear for the Republic. As a famous clone trooper once said, those of you Star Wars Battlefront fans will know what I mean. This is the Mariani, everybody. This is the faction that I prefer out of the two factions. However, it is easily the more difficult faction, in my opinion, at least at this point in time. Do keep in mind this is in a public beta, so there will be things that will change about the campaign as time goes on. In fact, I'm hoping a lot of it will change, but we have no idea what will change. It's going to be based largely on community feedback and what's witnessed and whatever. That's why we have the beta patch and why things change in the future with the DEI devs, trying to make things balanced but still interesting. So do keep that in mind while you're watching this. I should have said that earlier. But anyway, just keep that in mind. This is beta footage, but it's public beta footage at least. Anyway, the Mariani. Here we are. Let's go over your starting position and armies. So as I said in the Sullani segment, the Mariani only have 2 legions to begin with. They had the 1st Legion and the 2nd Legion. Legio 1 up here, Italica, is basically a half-strength legion. Has a mercenary Italic mercenary sword unit. Rest of it is legionnaires, essentially. Marian legionary javelinmen. You do have a Samnite cavalry ready to be hired if you want them. What am I looking for? Here it is. This legion is led by Lucius Scipio Cornelius Asiaticus. Wow, what a name. He's leading the 1st Legion. Down here at Crescentia, you have the 2nd Legion, Legio II Augusta. Very much the same sort of Legion loadout, except instead of Italian swordsmen as your auxiliary unit, you have Ligurian cavalry right here. So these are basically the equivalent of like half-strength legions in each city. So what you're probably going to want to do is combine them quite quickly, because then you almost get a full army of 2 legions worth of troops in just like a single turn. And combining your troops is a good way to defeat Sulla early on, especially if you hire those Samnite Cav. That's how you can beat him. I would say relatively easily, but it depends on your battle skills. I mean, he is using the same troops as you, so if you can't outsmart the AI, then I mean, you might have a bit of a tough time, but you got a bridge right here that you can use with a river, so you can force Sulla to cross the river to fight you, or he'll go and attack Beneventum, in which you can trap him in the town if you need be. But anyway, we'll talk about that later on. You have 2 armies, no agents, no navy, so let's talk about your starting cities. Obviously, your capital is Rome. Definitely not a one-hitter quitter now. You own almost the entire province of Latium. You have the city of Esculum, you have the city of Arretium, but the city of Riminum is under Sullani control for whatever reason. Let's go north and we'll make our way back south. So up here in Cisalpine Gaul, we have Medlan, aka Milan, and then we have the city of Genua. However, the city of Patavium is under Sullani control again, so it shows the influence of Sulla making its way in from the east. Gonna be a problem for you. You're gonna want to solidify these 2 provinces by taking these 2 cities quite quickly. But once you do that, you're going to be laughing. That will really solidify your hold over the rest of Italy. Now let's go west. We go past your client state Massalia, and then we have the city of Nabo in Narbonensis. Fairly small town, pretty inconsequential, except it allows you to travel troops, or march your troops rather, along the coastline into Iberia. So that's kind of like your gateway into Iberia in a sense. We have the city of Tarraco in the province of Tarraconensis. All of your cities, by the way, start off with basically like level 1 buildings. There's some barracks and whatnot that are upgraded, but you do get to do a lot of building despite this being a late Republican campaign, so that's fun. But yeah, you only have the capital city in that Tarraconensis region. Arachillum and Brigantium up here are pretty far away, and it's going to take you a bit of a march to go get them. However, as we continue along the coastline, we have the city of Ars and the entire province of Hispania under your control. You have the capital of Hispania, Mastia. You have Ibossum, aka the Balearic Islands, and then you have Numantia up here in north central Hispania. Very nice province to have, and it actually has quite a few resources in it to begin with. You have copper up here in Numantia, and the city of Ars has silver, and all silver mines have lead, so that is a big plus for you, and it's quite nice. And besides that, you have 3 coastal cities as well, so that can help you replace your food or whatever if need be, or could help you boost maritime commerce. We then cruise south further along into southwestern Hispania or Iberia. We have the province of Baetica. Capital is Cortuba. Then you have the city of Gadir over here, which has wine for you, and then you have the city of Aplasia, which has olives for you. Very, very nice. One thing to note about these provinces, though, is that the Hispania culture or Iberian culture is quite high. Latin culture is going up, but because of that high culture, you're going to have some public order issues. It's a little bit more dire for the Mariani than the Sullani. The Sullani do have some public order issues to deal with, but all in all, it's pretty inconsequential if you pay attention to it in the first few turns. However, the Mariani will have some cultural development to do out here in the west. Furthermore, we then have the province of Lusitania. This is far west in Hispania, very far and remote. Because of that, your Iberian culture starts at 80%, so you've got to deal with that relatively quickly. All of Hispania starts with negative public order going on, so it can be quite a pain in the butt to try and hold on to this whole region. You're going to have to get governors and agents out here to try and help settle things down. But the province of Lusitania has the major city of Elisipo right here, and then we have Ibora, which has iron pumping out of it as well, and very nice resource to have. That's it for the west in terms of what you hold in Iberia. However, we then jump down to Africa, where we have your other client state, Numidia. They own basically inland parts of Africa and this one little coastal settlement. However, as we come to the east a little bit further, we can see that you own all of Africa, the best province under your direct control. And it's even better because it starts off with a lot of food. You got a delicatessen, and you have a major tier 2 farm, which you can upgrade to tier 3 if you like. But what I like to do with Africa, and what I see people recommending and doing with it, is usually using it as an agricultural hub. So what you'll do is you'll convert these commercial harbors into fishing ports on turn 1. Go ahead and do that. Build commercial fishing there. Upgrade all of your undeveloped land to be villas or whatever you can. I would probably even get rid of your military buildings, like your auxiliary barracks. It's not really giving you anything too crazy out here. All it does is give you auxiliary cav and spearmen and light auxiliary, so javelinmen. No one cares. I would just destroy this. You could even get away with destroying these Roman barracks, although that is the only thing that allows you to build a legionnaire. But I mean, you're not really going to get invaded in Africa. There are some African nations that might give you trouble, like the Garamantians here. or the Nasamones or the Egyptians, but you can handle it. And you can also use Sicily as a base of building troops to send down in Africa. I would just focus on building as much food into Africa as you can, and then because you are a large empire or quote-unquote republic, you have a lot of edicts that you can use. You have 5 that you have on turn 1 available. Go ahead and hit that export food instantly, and then within 6 turns you're going to have a massive income, which you can see it actually starts in the negative at minus 379 just straight off the bat, and you don't even have a full army. So why is this? Why is your income so terrible if you hold so much territory? Oh, by the way, with territory, like I said, you hold all of Africa. You have the city of Cyrene in the province of Libya, so that's going to be a bit of a frontier city against Egypt. You have all of Sicily. We looked at Magna Graecia with Beneventum and Cosentia, and then I'm not sure if I noted it, but I'll note it again anyway. You have the city of Eulalia on the island of Corsica. Sardinia is under Sulla's control. So that's not great. But anyway, why is your economy in the negative? Well, if we go here just to any province and we go ahead and we check out your income, you will see your empire maintenance is redonkulous. You have minus 102% of your income, 102.1%, due to empire maintenance. So that's an insane. Basically, you're only earning money from your provinces that have like certain bonuses going on. So this region has slaves, which are giving it a bonus to its income, and then you have the tax level, which gives it a bonus to the income. So that's really, really harsh. You combine that together, that's going to get you at 49%. And then you take away 102% because of empire maintenance. So instead of getting 1,000 income for your entire province, you're only going to get 500. It's cutting it almost in half, 49%. So Sicily immediately is giving you half of the revenue that it would otherwise be if you didn't have empire maintenance. You're going to always have empire maintenance to deal with any faction, but for whatever reason, the Mariani just have it really, really harsh. Probably to simulate the corruption at the time. So there's a few things that you can do straight away to help your income, and I'll go as quickly as I can. First thing is technology. Go to your philosophy building tree and go ahead to labor organization. That gives you a minus 3% to empire maintenance. We can then go to legal institutions, which gives you a minus 5%, so that gives you 8% in total. Go down to consensual contracts, gives you another minus 8 to empire maintenance, so 16% in total. And then that's it for those two different options. Natural philosophy and cultism don't really help you in that regard at all, but those things will get you started on a minus 16%. Granted, it's going to take a while, don't get me wrong on that, but it will help you in the long run. Something else that we can do is install governors wherever we like. I recommend you try to do that in the major buildings of provinces. Get yourself a general that you don't really care about. Get him whatever garrison unit you want. Plump him in the city, and then start giving him, as he earns experience, give him traditions and whatever and ancillaries that will help him with public order, reducing empire maintenance, and increasing your economy. So do that in all of your major cities, because you can have 12 armies in total. So you already have 2 legions over here in Italy. You're going to combine them almost certainly on turn 1. So that's going to bring it back down to 2. I mean, you'll need 2 armies in Italy to do well, so keep 1 army down here, build another one up here in Rome, go and do things in the north. So that leaves you with about 10 or so generals that you can place all around your empire to begin governing provinces, and then you can adjust it as needed as time goes on. So that's going to be a big help for your income. And then another thing you can do is we can look at the military buildings, and you can see on the left hand side of the screen at the top it says minus 200 wealth for maintenance. All of your barracks have a lot of maintenance. We can then hover over your auxiliary barracks, and we can also see that you have minus 300 wealth for maintenance. So just because you have 2 barracks, an auxiliary and a regular barracks in the province of Africa, that's an instant minus 500 per turn for your income just from that province. And then if we go all the way around to the other provinces, you're going to see more military barracks. Look at this, another minus 500 in Sicily. Same thing in Hispania, another minus 500. It's just ridiculous, and you don't need all of these provinces ready to recruit troops for you. Yes, it's handy, but it's not absolutely needed. So for example, in Iberia, I would just go ahead and leave just a single barrack building, probably in Cortuba or something. Maybe in Mastia, but it doesn't really matter. They both have good population available, so it's up to you. But in all of the province of Iberia, you only need 1 barracks really to build yourself an army, maintain public order, and then invade the other Iberians if you want to. So that would save you a massive amount of money straight away. So go ahead and demolish those buildings, build something more productive. It's up to you what you want to build, but I would just go through all of your buildings and wipe them out. These auxiliary barracks in Milan, not needed. You're right next to Italy, which is going to pump out troops for you anyway. Rome, you definitely want to have a barracks, although you don't need one. Your capital building of Roma does give you at least a basic legionnaire troops and legionary cavalry. But if you want extra special units, then you do need a barracks and auxiliary barracks. But anyway, that's just a few tricks to get you started on the Marian run. So that should really get your economy flowing relatively quickly, but you do start off in the negative. So it's very different to the Sulla economy, which starts off on steroids straight away, and it has really great potential early on. And the one bonus you have compared to the Sulla faction, though, is that you're not going to have as many enemies, at least not straight away. You need to get through all of the Sulla territory first, get through all of Greece and then Asia, in order to border Pontus, and then Pontus will be an issue for you. You do have barbarian threats from the north in Gaul, but you can use diplomacy to try and keep them at bay for a little while, and they're also going to be busy fighting each other. So it's not as dire as the Sulla faction is in that they are surrounded by potential enemies, even to the south. Yes, you do border Egypt, but you border Egypt with a major walled city. Get yourself a general and a small garrison here. You can hold this city against anything, and it will stop the Egyptians from marching west against you, which they might. Depends on your campaign, whatever happens, but I'm just saying you can have a lot of territory protected for nothing. Africa won't really need a lot of protection. Sicily doesn't need it. Sardinia and Corsica won't once you unite them. Hispania, it's going to be good once you control the public order and you take out these 2 little minor tribes. And then you have like a dozen cities that are completely free of war and issues. Relatively free of issues, but completely free of war. So that is a nice sort of counterbalance to your difficult to start economy. But anyway, that's enough of that. Let's go into the family tree and finish things up. And this is where I get really excited to play this campaign for you all, because we have Gaius the Younger. Here is Gaius the Elder, died at 71 BC. Your mother Julia is still alive. Gaius the Younger, 27 years old, married to Licinia, 25 years old. We have an auntie of Gaius, so Auntie Aurelia. She was married to a Gaius Julius Caesar, who died at the age of 35, quite young. However, Aurelia had 2 daughters, Julia Minor, Julia Major, and she had a son, Gaius Julius Caesar. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you can finally play as Caesar on the Grand Campaign map for Divide Et Impera. At least in this campaign. Not in the actual Grand Campaign, but you're playing on the Grand Campaign map, so that's why I'm saying that. Gaius Julius Caesar also starts in your political family, the Mariani. So if you like, you can go ahead and declare Caesar your heir straight away. So if Gaius dies, or if you want him to die, which you can make him, you can have Gaius Julius Caesar lead his own faction, which is super exciting and so fun to me. That's absolutely what I'm going to do. Sorry, little Gaius, but your boy Caesar has to come in and get things done. And Caesar's only 17 years old, so he's got a long life ahead of him. He's got to get a lot done, especially in this 12 turns per year campaign. We then have the Popularis faction with a bunch of other characters that you might know. One of the ones I know off my head is Quintus Sertorius, so you might want to send him to Hispania to be immersive. But anyway, we then have the Patricia, so we're still going to deal with the patricians, unfortunately. Some big names there. Decimus Servilius, that name is familiar, though I can't remember what he did. And then we have the Libertini Collegium political party, led by Gnaeus Afrianus Scrofa. Wow, what a name. But anyway, that is your starting position, that is your family tree, and that is also your economy. Population is going to be the exact same as the Sullani. You don't have population issues, and if you somehow manage to, chances are you're just throwing away armies on purpose or something. You have population everywhere in your land, and it's only going to get better as you expand. So population basically a non-issue in my opinion. Go ahead and remember that technology stuff I said to you. But anyway, that's it for the Roman factions. Let's jump out of this now. Go check out Mithridates VI and Pontus for the Mithridatic Wars campaign. Alright everyone, here we are checking out Pontus. That's right, we have a new cultural group for this campaign anyway, which is Pontus. Pontus has the independence buff, which gives you plus 10% melee defense during battles in own or allied territory. Not massive, but it does help. And then you have the Echoes of War debuff, which gives you minus 25 diplomacy with Roman factions. You and the Romans do not like each other due to the recent wars you fought against each other and the upcoming war that is absolutely expected by both sides. Anyway, we have the Spider's Web buff just for Pontus, which increases spy success, chance, and cap. We have the negative debuff, which gives you the Court Intrigue, which decreases party loyalty, so you're going to be far more susceptible to civil wars from your parties. But we do have the Multiculturalism buff, which decreases foreign culture public order penalties. So as you expand, you're actually going to have fewer public order issues than otherwise what you would expect, although they still will be there. So anyway, let's jump onto the campaign map and check out how the start is for Mithridates the Sixth, Mithridates the Great. Alright everyone, let's wrap up this video by checking out the Pontic situation for the Mithridatic Wars campaign. As soon as you enter the campaign, you'll be seeing this objective issued box. Push back against the Roman incursion into our previously held lands. These scum must be forced all the way back to Italy, or back at Italy. Little bug report there. But anyway, your objective, be at war with the following factions, the Sullani. So you're going to get 6.5k just for declaring war on Sulla. And of course you are Mithridates the Sixth, Mithridates the Great, Mithridates the Snake, depends on your point of view and opinion. But anyway, speaking of which, here is your Basileus Mithridates with his starting army in your starting capital in the city of Amasia. You start off with your general. You have a Pontic Thorax Lancer, Thorax Bronze Shield Pikeman, a late Pontic Bodyguard as a unit, interesting. And then we have a Pontic Heavy Archer. So you have some very heavy troops to begin with. We'll go to the recruit panel. You can see there's a lot of troops you can choose from straight away. Pontus is definitely at the highlight of its, I guess, reign, and has one of the best militaries in the game at this point. And it has a lot of population to draw on from because you have a lot of territory. So let's go over it. In the province of Bithynia and Pontus, we have your capital, Amasia, the city of Trapezos, and the city of Sinope, which gives you wood, Trapezos giving you fish. As we come to the west, in the province of Galatia and Cappadocia, we have the city of Ankara, aka Ankara, and the city of Massacre, which provides you with much needed iron. However, the other two cities in the Galatia Cappadocia province are the city of Side and the city of Iconion, which belong to client states, except Iconion isn't a client state actually. It's the faction Pisidia. I believe they're not a client state. Let's just double check. Oh no, they are a client state. Never mind, my bad. They're a client state of the Sullani. Obviously the Sullani don't like you either, but anyway. My bad, wanted to correct that. So that's going on with them. Oh, and you border the Sullani right here. I thought this wasn't the Sullani for some reason. Sorry guys. Bit of a brain fart. We're at the end of a long video, but anyway. So anyway, that's your starting territory right there. Let's go further east. In the province of Syria, you actually have an incursion into Syrian proper, as you have the city of Samosata up here in the north. So it's actually a little bit of an invitation to let you come on down into the south and take over Syria proper and really expand your empire into something a little bit more serious. And then we come to the east over here where we have your, what is this, ally? Yes, your military ally, Haik, aka Armenia. They're quite chunky at this time and actually hold territory all the way down south in Odessa, so good for them. The king of Armenia at this time is actually married to Mithridates' daughter. Mithridates' daughter. So, not Mithridati, Mithridates' daughter. So that's why he's your military ally. But anyway, you don't have any other territory in the east. However, as we go north along the Black Sea, you will see that we have the city of Phasis in the province of Kavkos, aka the Caucasus Mountains right here. Just one little small city there, not very high with your culture. So you are Hellenic, so you're definitely going to have some public order issues there. Meanwhile, over here in Bosporus, you hold all three of the cities in the province of Bosporus. We have Pantikapion, Phanangaria, and then Tanais, or Tanais. I'll go with Tanais. I just nailed those pronunciations. Can I get a round of applause, please? That was not that bad. First attempt, by the way, first cut. Anyway, very nice province to have. However, you do have the nomads to your north, who will all be receiving an update. At least Royal Scythia, the Roxolani, and the Saka will be receiving updates, and I assume it will affect the AI nomads, but I can't say for certain on that. Are going to be up here, so they're going to be a bit more of an issue than before, because they will actually have infantry that actually can get the job done. There's some pretty solid infantry, all things considered, so you might have issues holding onto your territory up here. Anyway, that's what you currently own. Not as big as the Romans, but it is still quite substantial considering that you're non-Roman. Very few factions rival you. Armenia is close, but they still have fewer cities. Parthia would be your biggest rival in the east. As you can see, they have the capital of Seleucia right here. This is at a point in time where the Parthians have made massive progress against the Seleucids, and they're actually about to finish them off over here, so good for them, but it means that you will have Parthia coming in from the east eventually, as you are dealing with the Sullani in your west, and the Mariani should they win the war between Ottomanes and the Populares. Alright, very quickly, let's go over your diplomacy. You have just a military ally of Armenia, and besides that, you have literally no other diplomacy going on. You do have the potential for some trade and some non-aggression and whatever. However, the Seleucids to your south are at war with Armenia, and in fact, if we go here, we can see that Armenia is at war with the Seleucids, but they also have some nice resources. They have gold and they have silk under their direct control. So it's better to probably maintain your alliance and whatever with Armenia, even if that means going to all these Seleucids. But you don't have any wars at turn 1. However, turn 2 and beyond, you're pretty quickly going to have the Roman faction Sullani at war with you. They also have their client states, Pisidia and Bithynia over there as well, so got to be careful. The client state of Lycia as well. As I said, you will have the nomads to your north causing trouble. To the east, you have the Kartli, the Ardhan, the Medians, the Parthians. Probably all will start to declare war on you because you're big, and when you get bigger, other factions just naturally stop to like you. I mean, they don't like you anymore. So expect a lot of wars. You're probably going to need at least 3 major armies. One to deal with the Romans in the west, one to keep Kartli and these other Easterners in check, and then one more up here to defend your territory against the nomads and go on the offensive if necessary. Although province of Sarmatia, for example, is rather big, and it takes you quite far away from your core territory, so you might want to consider just liberating some military allies over there. So that's your diplomacy. You start off trading with Armenia, so that means that you're going to get that gold and silk straight away. You also have grain, fish, wine, timber, and iron. So some very practical but still useful resources. You don't have any particular provinces that are amazing. I mean, Bithynia and Pontus is a 4-city province, as is Galatia and Cappadocia, so you have the potential to get some good money going with them. But they don't really have any amazing resources, so it's going to be up to you how you make your money with them. You can do industry, you can do commerce, you can do agriculture. It's up to you entirely how you want to handle your economy. But because you have so many cities in these small provinces, you have the potential to do what you like. So when you start off, your economy isn't terrible. You're at 3.5k income, which is a decent start. 21k in the bank straight away as well, so you have plenty of money to begin doing what you like. And I would say try to take your time in building up your economy while you're recruiting your armies as well, and get ready for war, as all of the factions need to, really. Let's go ahead and check out your family tree. You'll notice you only have one other political family to deal with, which is the court nobles, but besides that, there are no other political families, which is interesting. We have a big list of family tree right here. You are 52 years old, at least Mithridates is, so that's actually quite old. I don't know how much longer he'll last, although this is a 12 turns per year campaign, which I'm so happy about. But anyway, we then have your daughter Cleopatra, who is married to Tigranes the Great of Armenia. So he's your ally for now, although he's old too at 57. You then have a son by the name of Mithridates, another son by the name of Machares or Machares. I'll go Machares. You have a daughter by the name of Tripentia, Tripetina. We then have a son by the name of Pharnaces, and a daughter by the name of Athenaeus or Athenaeus. Wow, there's a lot of different ways you can pronounce that. I ruined that one. But anyway, that is your family tree. A lot going on with that. Those of you who love the history of Mithridates, I'm sure you recognize all of these characters. They are all historically accurate. And where there isn't necessarily known spouses or whatever, there is a little bit of liberty taken. But from my understanding, these are accurate. And it's going to be interesting to see if you can handle that political party, because you do have that that debuff to your loyalty that you got to deal with internal political factions. So good luck trying to keep the court nobles happy. But anyway, everybody, that's where we're going to end it. Not really too much else to talk about with Pontus. You have that good population, good military and all of that. I'm not really going to give you any tips because you're in a great position anyway, and I don't want to overdo this video, which I already have done anyway. So that's where I am going to end the video, guys. I sincerely do appreciate you all taking that long time to check out this video. It's just my format and how I do my faction overviews and the campaign overviews I would like to do for all of the campaigns in Divide Et Impera eventually. And this is just how it's turned out for this one. So if you do enjoy this video, please do let me know down below. If you have similar requests for other campaigns or just requests for videos at all in general, please post them down below, or feel free to join our Discord where you can make a request. I always try to take those into consideration as I make these videos. And be sure to subscribe for more 1.3.2 content. But anyway, good luck to you all out there. I hope you all have fun with this beta. Massive props to the DEI team for getting out this patch. Congratulations, it's a fantastic one. And it's going to make Total War Rome 2 even more alive than it has been. Truly, there's never been a better time to get into Divide Et Impera. So, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next one.